Okay, good evening, everybody. We are here for Kent City Council workshop tonight. We have one item on our agenda tonight, and that's the Riverbend Complex update. And our Parks Director, Julie, is going to kick this off. But I want to just say before we get started with this year, I'm really excited about this year because I can remember in 2018 when I was new on the council, that's one of the tough things we were looking at is shutting down the Part 3. And there was a lot of anti-Part 3. That was on the ECDC coming at us. But we felt at the time that, the city just couldn't continue doing business the way we are. So I'd like to thank you for coming in and giving us a new direction. And these one of the things that you kind of look years down the road and turn out it was the best decision we could ever make, right? So, and the golf course is just popping. So really happy about that. So we look forward to this presentation, and I turn over to you, Julie.
Awesome. Thank you. Good evening, council members. And I'm actually pretty excited tonight. So I'm going to be the presenters tonight or myself. I'm going to kick us off. And then I've got Halfline in the audience here. And Jason's going to come up and say a few words on how they're doing. And then Pete's our closer is going to wrap that up. And then we're all available for questions if you have it. And since we don't have anybody, we're just going to take the full 2 hours. No, I'm kidding. We're not. We'll be fine.
Lots of questions, so be careful.
But Council President, you're totally right, and I really just want to say that I'm also super proud to be here today standing before you, because when I did come on, I started in Kent at that time, at the same time too, and really Riverbend was not broken, it just needed refinement and kind of shifting through, and so I feel like we've got some of those answers now, and all of the kind of the hard conversations we had to have, the difference of how we approached things, that they just didn't work in the past 20 years. We have to think differently and move forward. And I really appreciate all the support and the trust you gave to myself and the staff team out there to make it happen, because how we changed how we think about some of our business decisions on the back end really helped us advance and do what we're at right now. And, I was just sharing with Pete that now I've got other golf courses interested on trying to come and talk about what Kent's doing, because to be an enterprise fund on golf, it still is very difficult to turn profits, and I think we should all be very, very proud of that. And I do just want to say that the staff out there has always been amazing. It's really the back end that we really focused a lot on changing, and so we're going to walk you through all that today. So just to confirm, and if I could jump in cheerlead or something, I do want to just say that we have officially turned and flipped the business now. So it is officially in the black as of the end of 22. So I definitely believe we could have done it earlier had we not been handed a global pandemic, but we had to somewhat delay and work through that process. And so that's a huge accomplishment that it's taken us a while to kind of go through that. One of the things that was a main driver was being able to invest and expand our driving range, which Pete's going to talk about a little bit later in the presentation, that really brought in an additional source of revenue for us. And so that's somewhat the catalyst, along with some other business decisions that we made. I do want to caution, we are in the first year fully opened of the driving range, and so we've got kind of a number now. I'll feel better when I can see the number over the next couple of years, but both the Riverbend staff and myself, it may drop slightly because maybe it's not as new or whatever, but it's going to stay pretty close to where it's at. So we're being very confident. We're not just sustainable right now in 22, we will be sustainable moving forward, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. So when we built the business plan in 2017, I just want to confirm most of the strategies we're still working on. It had a lot of other things like update your partnership agreements and do that kind of stuff that we're still working on goals. But what we did in the most recent 23-24 budget process is update, we call it a financial pro forma, so we have the entire, by month, all of the forecasting out to 10 years. So we've got that whole plan, and that was updated in this process. And what we will be doing now moving forward is in coinciding with the city's biennium budget process. Every 2 years we're going to reforecast so we will always know where we're at. And then I wanted to commend staff here, and you get a wave on them earlier between Pete and our golf pro, Eric. We have our budget at Riverbend. They're the only ones in the department, probably in the city, that do it, is they break down their spending plan by month. And forecast out the whole year by month, and then every month they put in the actuals and then they reforecast. So we always know where we're going to end. So that way we're not surprised at year end that, oh, we should have adjusted. So, you know, we have dynamic spend plan management because we just have to stay tight like that, and we do that. And so they spend a lot of time kind of analyzing expenditures or holding strategically on how we do that. And so for the most part, between the business plan and our updated financial pro forma, that's what's going to drive Riverbend decisions on both operating and capital in the coming years. So here's all the nuts and bolts financials, which is really interesting. So I thought I'd, for fun, give you a graph up here on the left-hand side. That's revenue and expenses by month. So obviously you can see in the state of Washington, we're not like, you know, Texas or California that has sun 12 days or 12 months a year. And a lot of our highest revenue is in our, obviously, summer months. So the goal is to try to have, you know, as much earning that you can in those summer months to help offset your kind of rainy or your winter that you have lower months. And so in the past, we've had several months that have had just loss every month. This year we've had, I believe, 4, and I have that on a later slide. And so the goal is to try to keep that as more stagnant as we can. So I gave you also to the right the chart that just gives straight revenue and expenses. We have all the detail if you're interested, but to show the difference of the golf course of where it came. So if you look at 2017 and then 2018 par 3 gone, like we were originally negative 300,000, then we started, you know, we eliminated the expense side of the par 3, then we're shifting to still loss, we're still at a loss. But between, you know, 2018 and 2019, we still had no ability to do any capital improvements or things like that outside of the par 3 sale. So if you keep going all the way, 2019 was probably our last full year of business in the old model. Then, of course, we got hit with the pandemic in 20 and 21, which it's difficult to look at your financials, but lucky for golf, they had restrictions, of course, and the restaurant, of course, had major restrictions. But for the most part, they were still able to operate mostly during the pandemic, and we did see record-breaking attendance that we were kind of the only game. Hey, come play golf because everywhere else was closed, so we definitely capitalized on that. That was also the time when we were building the driving range. And Pete will talk about that later, but the complication of trying to do it in 3 phases and trying to have self-reform by Public Works, it definitely added the cost of that project, and we'll talk about that. So in 2022, this is the first year that we've had, last year was the first year we had all year with the driving range, and you can see it completely turned where we're at. We brought in around $429,000 of profit now. And then on that last line, it just shows you rounds, number of rounds of golf played at the course as well. Just wanted to caution, the 23 numbers, we're still looking at the same thing, super conservative. We're just going to keep the same rounds, similar expense. What is not reflected in the 2013 number yet is the 9.5 COLA. Finance is still working on getting all the budgets updated for all of that. So, but it'll just jump slightly, so that'll come down. So that gives you an idea of 2023.
What's not represented? I missed that last part.
The COLA, staff wages to jump a little bit, but
okay.
We're just catching up and getting that done.
Gotcha.
So like I mentioned before, really the kind of transition is really just a combination of, we do have some new golfers, you know, getting golfers during the pandemic, and of course the experience we have out there, keeping them coming back, that definitely we're seeing. Strategic pricing and how we look at our increases, of course our new driving range, and then just straight out hard work by the staff out there. These guys are literally almost working every single day of the year, minus I think Christmas and one other date I can't recall. So just to confirm for the council and to put it on the record officially, we have officially prior already have paid off 100% of any interfund loaning. There's no interfund loaning anymore. And then per current city policy, Riverbend should maintain a 60% golf fund balance, kind of like working reserve, but for the golf fund. And we hit that this year. So it's really 16% of your expenses or $400,000, whichever is higher. So you'll see 16% of our 23 number, we should have $476,000 in our working fund. And we have 2, actually. We're almost over $1 million now. So we purposely created a cash reserve fund when we had the par 3 sale, and that's really can use for capital, can use for budget, can use for any crisis, whatever that's just rainy day. Maybe it's bad weather gear, I don't know. So we have that, and that's separate in its own account, separate from fund balance. And then we have current and fund balance, still locking that through. We have about $656,000 available. And so that is in general fund balance. So currently, right now, access to cash in the golf fund is a little over $1 million. And that is a far different situation than it was owing the city $4.2 million and losing $300,000 a year. And so super proud of that. At the same time, we did some change up in capital funding. We, of course, had, after we paid off the reserve fund, we created our cash reserve fund. We did have capital dollars from the PAR 3, and we did do some investment. And so we had that, but there was no other ability to earn or to handle capital. And so we did some switching around of our admission tax. And then in this last budget had some ARPA funding allocated there. And so we have now a little over $1.1 million to put towards capital investment at the golf course to make it even better. And then Pete's going to share with you a little bit about what that's going to go towards, so we can talk more about that. And then since it's just me tonight, feel free to just, ask any questions during each section, and then we have time at the end. So really looking at just general Riverbend financials, again, just intentional policy decisions, turning business around. And I think that's just something super important to remember on any kind of business model is, what are the decisions driving your operations? Because no matter what the staff did on the front end, if the back end isn't in alignment, you're off. And so we fixed that, obviously, over the course of 4 to 5 years. You'll hear later tonight from our Half Lion partners. We finally feel confident we've got a long-term restaurant in there. Council changed the way that we look at renting that space, and for us it's more about long-term sustainability and the experience than it is trying to eke every cent of profit off of that. And so I have a feeling our profession in municipal golf is going to change that trend as well. I think we're leaders in that. As I mentioned before, 67% of our months last year were profitable. So we did 8 out of 12 we made profit, which is great. And then you would expect the months, in the winters that we just couldn't pull in officially from there. Our Riverbend Men's Club is still solid. They're strong, around 300 to 350 members, and our membership is actually up 29% over 22 numbers. Riverbend Ladies Club is around 100 to 125, and we're seeing growth there. And both Eric and Pete have been working with them on just what's happening at the golf course, recruitment, and all that good stuff. So we're hoping to keep growing that. One of the things I want to talk about is they don't just do, and Pete's going to share a little bit more about all the groups that are coming out to the golf course, but, just to talk about their tournaments, it's not just about a round of golf. We've got 100 tournaments they did in 2022, which takes a lot of coordination, not just with golf staff, but also with Half Lion staff on site as well. And then just to a side note, I was trying to figure out how I could get demographics. We don't track demographics in golf when they come in, but we obviously can visually see we have golfers anywhere from 5 years old to mid-90s, all races and cultures, and all that kind of stuff. And we actually have seen a lot of new golf, which is really great coming in. So Half Lion Public House, I'm just going to give you a quick reminder of where we're at, what we're doing, and then I'm going to invite Jason up to talk a little bit more about his next steps in the business. So as you know, Half Lion opened in 2019, and then in 6 months the pandemic hit and shut them all down. So that was a real struggle. 2022 is the first year they also have been open a full year, which is awesome. So we were able to see how that business and the viability there, and he'll talk more about that. And the lease term again is 10 years with 5-year options to renew. Standard rent of $3,000. Utility consumption is their responsibility, and it's based on a formula, and so on. But as you recall, when we were going through the pandemic, realizing we've got a brand new restaurant in its infancy, trying to kind of establish itself, and restaurant restrictions were insane during the pandemic, and so council agreed in August of 21 to do an amendment. And at that time, as you know, we waived their lease payment, and that was a loss to the business of $54,000. But as you can see, we're fine, and we were able to figure that out. We suspended their CPI inflator until 23, so that'll happen this year. We're back on track. And then at the time, people had the option for utility deferment. Do you recall that? And so Riverbend or Half Lion had utility responsibilities, but we held it. And so I was just making a note there that what do they owe? Let's see, like 36,000, a little under that, and they still owe about 26, and they basically pay an extra payment of $730 a month. They have not missed one rent payment or one back utility payment. So super happy. That hasn't always been the case at Riverbend, and so I'm just, just wanted to make sure council knows that Halfline is honoring the commitment that they made in return to your commitment to them. So I'm going to invite Jason up if you want to come up. Jason Nelson is the owner of Halfline. He also has staff, which I hope you'll introduce.
Yeah. Thanks,
We always felt like the third time would be the charm, so.
Pardon?
We had two previously, so third time is the charm.
Yeah,
so we
right?
appreciate
Here
that.
we go. And then actually Chris Sims, I think most of you know Chris. He's our general manager over at the restaurant. And then Stacy Thomas is our assistant, my assistant, and kind of runs the office and does makes sure I'm at places at the right time and stuff. So anyways, thanks for having us tonight. This is just awesome. Such a blessing to be here and just the support that the whole city of Kent and the community has given Half Lion Brewing Company and Half Lion Public House. It really is a cool thing to see, the community and the city council members and the city come behind small business like us and say, hey, we understand we had a contract, we understand things got really difficult, things were different than what we all planned on. Like that happens so much in life, and everyone stepped up and said, hey, this is going to be scary. It's going to be really hard. We had difficult conversations and difficult moments. I'm sure we all had our fears and stuff, the hairs raised on the back of our necks through that time. But we came together, and Pete and Eric at the golf course just did an amazing job trying to support us through everything and just being flexible, because that was the biggest thing, just to be able to pivot so fast. Like everything was changing so much. And so they were just so great and allowing us to be flexible and changing with us as the new laws are changing all the time. So the great partnership, not only the money that you guys allowed us to, come back and pay over time, because obviously there were taxes and different things that you just couldn't forgive. And we get that. But we needed to, those are the things that we need to pay for and stuff, and we get that. And so giving us that time, you guys, the city of Kent and the community and the council members, you guys really showed that you're looking for long-term success, long-term partners, and that's what Half Lion is all about, and that's what we're looking for, is long-term partners. And that's what we found in the city of Kent, and it's so cool to have that. And what's really cool is I know that Julie's talking about, we're finally in the black, and that's awesome. Being in the black in a small business is the best thing in the world. I mean, red is terrible. I hate red. I love black. But being in the black is awesome, and we're finally in it. But we wouldn't be in the black if you guys wouldn't have given us so much grace and support, because the money we probably still owe you is, we're not even in the black that much, right? And so, I don't think yet. I got to look at the final numbers, but we're close. But anyways, we're in the black because of the partnership and your guys' flexibility and the wisdom behind Julie's experience, going through the different things that we had to come through. I mean, weird curveballs were thrown at us, and Julie and her team hit it out of the park every time, so it was really neat. And so, to me, that was really the key for me, through just our partnerships and what we're doing. I just lost all my notes. Cool. Go from the hip now. Sweet. Love it. Technology. You love technology sometimes, but then sometimes it just blows up on you, right? Pivot. Cool. So the partnership's awesome, and just everything how we've done, how you guys have walked through it with us is just really neat. And it's really starting to open our eyes and the eyes to other communities into how, small businesses can partner with the communities and the cities that, the cities have great facilities and great, parks and different things. And there's so many talented people in our communities that are nervous to partner in such a way. And so now, we can help others and say, hey, this is a great thing. And the city of Kent and other cities that we're talking with right now, they're not big, scary cities. They'll come in and they'll help you and help you get better, as long as you're always willing to get better. So it's pretty cool. So that's the really cool thing. And then as we're just looking at things, the things that we talked about a long time ago are happening. The driving range is happening. And it's just so cool to see a mini little Top Golf in the city of Kent. And now we get to kind of be supporting that. And we're trying to figure out the staffing and all the cool little beverages and different food we can offer over there. But it's so neat to be able to offer that to our community. It's not just, a revenue stream for everyone, but it truly is a community thing for our community, because you go to Top Golf, it's very expensive, right? And who can go there very often? But you can come to the driving range in this, Riverbend Golf Complex in the city of Kent, and it's awesome time, and you can get, beverages and food and different time and hang out with your friends, and that's really neat that we did that, and that you guys in the city are forward thinking, right? Like, it was very difficult to get rid of something that we probably had forever. I remember the par 3 golf course, but I never golfed on it actually as a kid, and I grew up in Auburn. I remember it, I never golfed on it, but I went to the driving range, and now this is a thing that stays around, and now we made it better. So we sacrificed one thing maybe to make something even better that will stay around even longer. So it's just cool how you guys have continued to grow and plant the vision for the future. And that's what helps us to say, hey, we're a part of the community, and we're going to be a part of it, and just wherever we can help. And so like the 5K that we did with the, with the Kent Police Police Department, those things change things, right? When we start doing things together and bring businesses together and using the cool facilities that we have, like the golf course is so cool. We're so blessed to have it as a community. Not a lot of cities have made the sacrifice to keep something like this, and we have it, so we should do all the different things. So it's cool how we have the tent out there and, the remodel of everything. It looks really nice, and so it really is showing how the city-owned properties and the different things, as we come together, they do get better. And it's better when we work together, small business and the government or city governments. It works better together instead of individually. So I just want to thank you guys for taking a risk on us and giving us a chance, because it is working. People are loving it, and we survived some of the hardest times in the restaurant industry, and we're coming out of it running. And that is the key that I think you guys saw that was different than all the other cities and all the other towns and all the other governments that I've talked to and dealt with, is we were as a team, we were focusing on not just surviving the situation we're in, but come out of the gate running. And you're seeing not only your city doing that, but you're seeing Half Lion and some other things and other partnerships that we're doing. We're coming out of the gate running instead of just trying to scrape by right now. And so that's the cool thing that we created as working together and forward thinking. So anyways, that's all I really had. Sorry, I lost my notes. I probably have some other things I was supposed to say, but whatever. But Pete, oh yeah, that's it. That's what I forgot. Dang it, Julie. That's it. Dang it, something really important. Yes. Gosh, see, Stacy, I do forget things. Oh, things right on the tip of your tongue. I knew there was something. Anyway, so we're kind of, because it's been just such a fun partnership and everything, we thought it'd be fun to just unveil our new style of cans here at the meeting tonight. And so they're going to be available hopefully in the next couple months. And so it's our new Albert's Amber. Albert's Amber is kind of a different beer for us because it's named after our grandpa. And so he's kind of paving the way for us. And so it's pretty neat that we've been able to drink Albert's Amber all over the place now. So it's pretty cool. Gramps not here, but we get to drink beer with him everywhere now. So it's pretty neat. So this is our new beer style. You're going to see some different variations of it and different colors, but I love being in the black, so we're going in black this year with this black can. So
cool. That's available now or 2 months from now?
That beer is already available, but the new can will be released in stores and stuff. I think it'll drop in a month or two. So,
well, a couple of things. First of all, you kept mentioning community, right? And that's what it takes, right? It's a true partnership. You don't often get the chance to do something over and over, right? We had 2 failures prior to this year. It was important to us to make that place successful. And I can remember last night we still have battle wounds because people were really coming at us do not touch the part 3, right? But it's all about us really just thinking this is the best thing to do. It's kind of reminds me like a three-legged stool, right? You know, you had a council willing to take the chance and do the right thing and look what's best for the city, right? Then you'll have you guys, a good business, have a good business model to be able to come in and, be here for the city. And then last but not least, Julie is probably, I won't say this here, but I won't say favorite, but she's up there, one of my top directors, right? So I might get in trouble with Kurt tonight, but that's okay. But really a phenomenal director and a leader. And I think because of her leadership, that's why all this stuff is working, really. So we are really excited. Matter of fact, tonight, during our council meeting, we have lunch bringing to us. So tonight, our lunch is from Half Lions tonight for lunch tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. And last but not least, I think we're going to finish early tonight. So I might swing by there and test that Amber on my way home.
I can't bring beer.
But I come to you.
Everyone, come over to the public house and let's have a beer or something.
I might swing by on my way home tonight.
Let's have some French fries.
All right, fair enough. But hey, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. We're just so excited. This is really good for us in the city. So thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Good job, buddy. Thank you.
You had a good tartar sauce too?
Pardon?
You have good tartar sauce too?
Oh, yeah. Best tartar sauce.
Hey, any question real quick? Let's see here. Okay. We got Councilmember Jason. Jason, back up here. More question. All right. Councilmember Michelle, please.
Thank you, Council President. Jason, I just wanted to say that we are so thankful to have you guys there at the restaurant. It's it's good food. You partner with the community. You're adapting, and the people of Kent deserve to have a good restaurant. So we're thankful for you.
That's kind.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hey, thanks again, Jason, and I might see you later on tonight, okay? Pete.
Good evening. I just started my 30th year here. And this is the funnest meeting I've come to in a long time. So key accomplishments for 2022. As Julie mentioned earlier, it was our first full year of operation since 2017. And it was the first year we made money under the new golf business plan. We also did over 65,000 rounds, which is slightly down from the previous year of 68,000. We got a new fleet of golf carts. We hosted the Washington Junior Golf Association World Qualifier back in June with over 200 kids from around the Northwest to qualify to go to San Diego. We've also partnered with the Kent School District, and we hosted our first cross-country meet last October. And they've already contacted Eric and I about repeating this year. Riverbend hosted Half Lions Green River College fundraiser to support the forestry department out there at Green River, which was a great thing, and it was a very successful tournament. Riverbend hosts a variety of leagues. As you can see on the board, we have the DGA, we have Hole Outs, we have a Boeing Golf League, we have BB's League, we have Arrow, and a lot of these leagues have been around for 20 plus years. So they are very supportive. We also host 4 high school golf teams, 3 in the fall, 1 in the spring. Kent Meridian, Thomas Jefferson, Mount Rainier, and Seattle Christian. Seattle Christian plays in the spring. And it's interesting that not all of the kids are from the Kent School District, but a lot of the kids in those other school districts live within the city limits of Kent because the lines overcross. It was one of the questions Julie asked me years ago, how come these schools? I'm like, well, Eric went to Thomas Jefferson, but he lived in the city of Kent. So that's one of the reasons we honor those relationships with those schools. And that's really important to growing the game. Eric played high school golf there, grew up working there as a teenager, and has now been there well over 20 years. And over the last 22 years, we also have a variety of volunteers that have been with the golf course for a number of years. So we do over 8,000 volunteer hours with our marshals annually. And without them, we could not function. I mean, these guys are fantastic, and ladies. They show up, they take care of carts, they monitor play, they fill divots, they pick up trash. I mean, it's just wonderful to have them, and without them, we could not operate. And over the last 22 years, Riverbend has been one of the busiest golf courses in the Northwest and is one of the most popular.
Yep.
A couple of operating challenges for 2022. On March 4th, which is about a year ago, the 14th hole was flooded out for over a week, which makes it difficult to get golf out there. Poor weather in May, we had twice the normal rainfall. On June 17th, somebody backed their Dodge Durango into our west driving range door and stole over $10,000 worth of merchandise. On July 25th, we had a fire at the driving range, which resulted in over $85,000 worth of damage. October 2nd, we had one of our on-course restrooms burned. November 9th, the well pump shed was stolen. Golf course was closed for 15 days in December, and it was flooded out on December 24th. But all in all, it was a good year. Just a couple of things some of the things that we face on a daily basis down there. The driving range project started in February of 2020 and was not completed until August of 2021. Project was 3 phases, a little over $4.6 million. But as you can see from the numbers that we're doing now, we did over 9,400,000 golf balls at the driving range last year. Driving range percentage was up more than 20% over expectations, and we expect that to continue. And down at the bottom, you can see a little example. In 2019, the driving range did 431,000. Last year, it did 859. So more than double. Some of the projects we're going to do. In the golf, it says 362. We're actually open 364 days a year. The only day we're not open is Christmas Day. So our target is 65,000 rounds a year. We are dealing with some issues from the state auditor's office. We disagree on a few things, junior golf rates and a couple of other things. So we are still working with them to get some of the stuff ironed out. We are working on implementing a new point-of-sale system with Golf Now, which we are hoping to go live with on June 6th. We are in the process of rebranding the golf course. And what I mean by that is we now have logoed golf flags, and we're introducing new tee markers, and we're changing the look of the golf course to a little more upscale rather than your standard municipal golf course. We're making money now. We need to reinvest, and we need to continue to make improvements. New flag sticks, tee markers, tee signs, yardage posts, our benches and garbage cans and div mixed containers are already out on the golf course. We've done 2 drainage projects already this year to improve 2 of the greens, and we're looking to improve our 38-year-old irrigation control system, replace sprinkler heads, resurface some level tees, additional bunker sand, dress up around the parking lot and clubhouse. We need to do some landscape improvements there. And it wouldn't be possible without the support of the council. So a big thanks for that.
I would say also, I mean, you know, the huge investment, right? I think what happened before, we was in such a bind that, you know, we couldn't really invest in it, right? So
Correct.
Now we have it where we want to be. I think it's crucial that we put that money back in the course, because once you do that, you'll have more and more people come out that'll be willing to play. So that's really awesome.
Riverbend staff. Lloyd Abraham in June will have 40 years with the city of Kent. Eric has 20 years with the city, and he previously worked at Riverbend for another contractor. Josh DiMardino is our golf professional, and Eric is our head professional at the 18-hole golf course. If you haven't met Eric, he's wonderful. He's
I just got his card. He's going to give me a lesson on Saturdays. So
Perfect.
we're good to go.
Josh has been there 17 years. Jeff Lewis, 26 years. Melanie Manning, 35. Marty O'Neill, 23. Pat Sims, 36. And we have over 20 part-time staff. Some of our part-time staff has been there for more than 20 years. So we have a wonderful team, and I'm very thankful to be able to work with them. Any questions?
I just, once again, I'm took a peek, and I think, Julie, you need to make sure you reach out to, I think this will be a nice front page article for the Kent Reporter. So hopefully you can reach out
Steve
to
Hunter.
reach out to Mr. Hunter, and I might call him on my way home tonight. And I think this is really a good news story. Really, really a good news story. So I'm
I do have one more thing.
proud of all of you guys. So thank you.
Golf course architect Donald Ross said, "The development of municipal golf courses is the outstanding feature of the game of golf in America today. It's a great step. It's one of the greatest steps ever taken to make the game of the people as it should be." And he wrote that in the 1980s.
Still true today.
It's great. I've spent my entire life working at golf courses, and it's wonderful every day to get up and come to Riverbend.
Okay. Well, we're glad to have you, sir. Thank you for being part of the team. We do have a few questions here, so I'm going to start off with Councilmember Fincher, please.
Thank you. Pete and Julie, I remember back the same time when we were looking at selling the golf course or not, we found out that a lot of our golfers came from outside of the city. Have we increased the number, the percentage of golfers coming from inside of the city? Do we have more people who actually live in Kent golfing at the course?
I would say there's probably a slight increase. You know, we one of the things that we need to do is do a customer survey, find out zip codes. You know, we don't need physical addresses, but just zip codes. We did that back in 2017, and it would be good to double check that and see where we're at, making sure that we're getting the message out to our own community that we're available.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you had Douglas Golf, which I don't think is there any longer.
No.
But First Tee, and I see you're doing the high school, so they're both going robustly?
First Tee is just kicking off again, and the high school, well, the spring season will start for Seattle Christian, which is, I believe it's already started since we're into March. Douglas Youth Golf, Larry's wife passed away, so they disbanded the program.
Okay. And is the drink cart out at all of the tournaments?
It's out at the tournaments, yes. And it's one of those things that this time of year, it's not cost effective for Jason to put a cart out there if it's a rainy day.
Yep.
And it's very hard to get that schedule down. But in the prime season, yeah, the cart's out there.
Are there tournaments this time of year?
Oh, yes, there's a tournament this Saturday. There was a tournament back on February 25th.
Thank you very much.
Councilmember Lammer, do you have any questions?
No questions. I just have thoroughly enjoyed it, seeing the changes out there. And my husband and I have been out there enjoying the golf experience and plenty of top line experience too. So thank you for all that.
Well, you got to put that Amber on your list tonight, okay?
I will. Yeah, I know. I took note.
All right. Thank you, Councilmember Lammer. Let's see, Councilmember Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. President. Pete and Julie, you know that I've probably been one of the strongest and harshest members of the council in regard to the golf course. I am so pleased to hear your report this evening and the direction you're going. So congratulations. I'll eat my words. I'm very pleased.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
I like when a council member owns up to something. I wasn't.
To keep the recording.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, Councilmember Show.
Thank you, Council President. Julie, I just want to say thank you so much for coming in and making those necessary back-end changes, and for also recognizing the importance of having good people working those relationships, and that consistency of staff is really important to the patrons, I'm sure. So thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
Well, when you got good news, man, what do you do, right? So, hey, thanks once again, Jason. We appreciate you and continue to look forward to this partnership and excellent job. Let's keep the work up. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day, guys. Thank you. We'll adjourn.